All right, so are you ready to dive into some serious epic poetry?
I am.
Today, we're tackling Dante's Inferno. You know, that first part of his Divine Comedy that, well, pretty much everyone's heard of. But I don't know about you. I'm not sure everyone's actually read it.
I think you're right about that.
So, to help us out here, we've got a few things to pull from. There's a visitor's guide to the Inferno.
Okay.
We found a pretty good YouTube summary.
Sounds good.
And of course, some good old Wikipedia.
Always.
But, the real goal here isn't just to, give a book report on the Inferno.
Oh, no.
It's to try to use the Inferno as a way to sort of understand how people thought back in the Middle Ages.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, it's fascinating how Dante, even back in the 1300s, managed to weave together all these different threads. Like you've got classical mythology and then Christian beliefs and then his own, well, honestly, kind of wild imagination.
Right?
And he created this vision of hell that still resonates with people today.
Yeah, and he just drops us right into it.
Oh, right into the action.
With Dante himself lost in this dark wood.
Yeah.
And, this is not just some wrong turn while out for a stroll kind of thing, right?
Definitely not.
This wood is practically screaming symbolism. It represents the spiritual crisis that Dante is going through.
Absolutely.
And to drive the point home even more, he even tells us he's 35, midway upon the journey of our life. I mean, come on.
Midlife crisis.
Yeah, kind of relatable, right?
Totally. I mean, he grabs our attention with this very human experience of feeling lost and confused, then uses that to launch into these huge questions about sin and morality and, what's the point of it all,
Yeah. So then just when Dante's about to basically give up hope, who does he run into?
It's Virgil.
Virgil, the Roman poet.
Yes.
I mean,
talk about a literary icon.
Talk about a serious throwback, right?
Yeah.
Like the OG literary superstar.
Yeah, absolutely.
I kind of have to picture Dante geeking out a little bit at this point.
Dante chose Virgil very carefully.
Oh, okay.
I mean, think about it. Virgil represents human reason, but as a pagan, he can guide Dante through hell, but not to paradise.
Oh.
Right. So it's foreshadowing
the
limits of human intellect when it comes to divine matters.
See, I did not pick up on that at all. Okay. So Virgil agrees to be Dante's guide. They get to the gates of hell.
Uh-oh.
And it's, well,
not exactly a welcome mat.
No. It's, abandon all hope, ye who enter here. Talk about a mood killer.
Oh, I know, but that inscription's crucial.
Okay.
Because it tells us that, in Dante's view, hell isn't just some timeout corner.
No,
it's forever.
Right.
No second chances, no parole board.
Makes you think twice.
It really does. It makes you think twice about the choices you make in life, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And right before they even officially enter hell, there's this place called the Vestibule of the Futile.
Okay.
Not exactly top of the list of vacation destinations.
Right.
This is filled with souls who just drifted through life, never taking a stand for anything.
Oh, wow.
I mean, talk about a fate worse than death.
Even today, that idea of spiritual stagnation is just going through the motions. It can feel like its own kind of hell. Dante is really onto something here, making us examine how we're living our lives.
So, okay, they finally enter hell proper.
All right.
And this is where Dante's love of order really comes into play.
Okay.
9 circles, each with punishments tailored to fit the crime. Talk about poetic justice.
There it is.
He called it contrapasso.
Okay.
It's like he's saying, you messed up in this way.
Yeah.
So your eternal punishment is going to reflect that.
Yeah, the contrapasso isn't just about punishment, though.
Okay.
It's about symbolic representation. So take the lustful, for example.
Okay.
They're tossed about by this unrelenting wind, just like the passions that swayed them in life. It's a poetic reflection of the sin itself.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
So they start off in limbo.
Right.
Which actually, doesn't sound too bad, all things considered.
Right.
I mean, it's for unbaptized babies.
Okay.
And virtuous pagans.
Like Virgil himself?
Like Virgil.
Yeah.
But get this, Dante puts...
I know.
big thinkers.
Yeah.
Like Homer and Socrates there, too.
No, that's interesting. I mean, clearly Dante admired these guys, but because of their beliefs, they couldn't enter paradise.
Right.
it makes you wonder what Dante truly believed about God's mercy,
Yeah.
Is salvation only for those who follow a specific path?
Right, like how strict are the rules? I mean, this is making me sweat a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so from limbo,
Right.
we move on to the second circle.
Okay.
Where things get a bit more, shall we say, intense.
Oh.
The lustful,
Yeah.
eternally blown about by that wind.
Right.
What's the deeper meaning there beyond just like, oh, love hurts?
Well, Dante's highlighting the idea of being consumed by passion.
Okay.
Right. So the wind symbolizes how easily we can be swept away by our desires, losing control, and ultimately facing the consequences.
Right.
It makes you think about the things that control us, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And right next door, in the third circle,
Yep.
are the gluttonous,
All right.
forced to wallow in filth.
Oh, yuck.
I imagine this circle being like the world's worst all-you-can-eat buffet gone really, really wrong.
Oh, yeah. The imagery is definitely vivid.
Yeah.
And again, it's about consequences.
Okay.
Just as they overindulged in earthly pleasures, now they're trapped in this never-ending cycle of excess and disgust.
Now we arrive at the fourth circle.
Okay.
Where things get a little less stomach-churning.
Okay, good.
But still pretty rough.
All right.
This is where the hoarders and the wasters are.
Okay.
Endlessly pushing those giant weights around.
Right.
It's like they're stuck in a cosmic gym workout from hell.
It's a fantastic metaphor for their lives, don't you think? Always focused on material wealth, either hoarding it or squandering it, never finding true satisfaction.
Mm-hmm.
Dante's showing us that true wealth isn't about possessions.
Deep stuff. Okay, things get literally heated in the fifth circle.
Right.
The wrathful and the sullen are down in the river Styx, right?
That's right. Think of it as a toxic swamp of negativity.
Okay.
You've got the wrathful constantly fighting each other, while the sullen are choking on their own resentment beneath the surface.
Oh, wow.
Dante's making a powerful statement about how anger and bitterness can poison us from the inside out.
So we've got lust, gluttony, greed, wrath.
Right.
What's next on this syntastic tour?
Well, they reach the gates of Dis, this fortress within hell.
Okay.
And things get a little complicated.
Oh.
Even Virgil, the voice of reason, can't get them in. It's like they've hit a spiritual roadblock.
Ooh, a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Seriously guarded city within hell.
Mm-hmm.
And even Virgil, Mr. Reason himself, couldn't sweet-talk his way in.
Right.
So what happens next? Do they have to, like, bribe the demonic bouncer or something?
Not quite. They needed a little divine intervention.
Oh, okay.
An angel literally blasts the gates open for them.
Wow.
Which I think goes to show that sometimes even reason needs a little help from above, right?
I guess even in hell, you need the right connections.
Exactly.
So what's behind door number 2?
Well, we come to the sixth circle where things get a little more personal for Dante. This is where the heretics are punished, Those who denied the immortality of the soul.
Okay.
They're trapped in these burning tombs.
Oh, wow.
Forever cut off from the spiritual realm that they rejected.
Okay.
And guess who Dante bumps into?
Don't tell me. His old therapist.
Not quite, but close.
Okay.
It's Farinata,
Okay.
his political rival.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it adds this whole other layer to Dante's journey, showing how personal grudges and political beliefs can play into this whole idea of sin and judgment.
Yeah.
It's like he's settling some scores along the way.
Intense. Okay.
Yeah.
On to circle number 7.
Right.
What fresh hell awaits them there?
Well, this is where things get really graphic.
Oh, boy.
We're talking violence, and it's divided into 3 rings.
Okay.
Each more horrifying than the last.
Okay.
The outer ring is this river of boiling blood, where those who are violent against others are tormented.
So imagine being stuck in this giant, eternally boiling pot of blood. Talk about a recipe for disaster.
Doesn't sound pleasant.
Not at all.
No.
What about the middle ring?
Well, that's where the suicides are.
Okay.
And this is where Dante's symbolism gets really, really interesting.
Okay.
They're transformed into thorny trees, constantly being pecked and clawed at by these harpies.
So they're punished by becoming nature itself.
Exactly. It's like he's saying that by rejecting life, you are denied even a human form.
Right.
You're trapped in these distorted versions of yourself, forever tormented for that act of self-destruction.
That's some heavy stuff. Okay, last ring of the 7th circle. Hit me with it.
This one's for those who were violent against God, nature, or art.
Okay.
So blasphemers, sodomites, and oddly enough, usurers stuck in this burning desert.
Yeah.
Think of it as like the ultimate wasteland.
Okay.
reflecting how their actions have created this kind of spiritual desolation.
Yeah. And it's here that Dante has that awkward run-in with his old mentor, Brunetto Latini, right?
It does. Yeah, he's punished among the sodomites. It's a really poignant moment, I think, because you see that even someone Dante admired and respected is still subject to divine judgment.
Yeah.
You know, it's a reminder that nobody gets a free pass,
Right.
no matter how great their accomplishments in life.
So after navigating that emotional minefield, Dante and Virgil need to descend to the eighth circle.
Yes.
And for that, they need a ride from, how do I put this delicately, a really messed up creature.
Yeah, let's just say it's not your average taxi service.
No kidding.
We're talking about Geryon, the monster of fraud.
Okay.
He's got the face of a man, the body of a serpent, and a scorpion's tail.
If Uber existed in hell, this would be your ride. Talk about a creepy driver. So Geryon takes them down to the eighth circle.
That's right.
And you said this one is really intricate.
Oh, this is male bulge. And this is where Dante really, really gets into the nitty-gritty of human deceit.
Right.
It's divided into 10 evil pockets.
Okay.
Each one dedicated to punishing a specific type of fraud.
Oh, wow.
It's like this twisted carnival of con artists.
Okay.
Each with their own special brand of hell.
I'm morbidly curious now.
I bet you are.
Give me the highlights.
All right.
What kind of fraudulent fun awaits them in male bulge?
Well, in the first pocket, you've got the panderers and seducers.
Okay.
Those who use their charm for evil.
Right.
It's their punishment.
Yeah.
They're constantly whipped by demons and forced to march in opposite directions.
Oh, wow.
Symbolizing how they manipulated others for their own gain.
Yeah, which sounds like a pretty bad breakup. What about pocket number 2?
Pocket number 2 is for the flatterers.
Okay.
And their punishment is fittingly gross.
Okay.
They're stuck in a ditch of excrement, constantly wallowing and arguing with each other.
Okay.
Dante's basically saying that their words were so full of crat. Yeah.
That now they're literally drowning in it.
Yuck. Okay, moving right along. Pocket number 3.
Pocket number 3, the simoniacs.
Oh, yeah.
These were corrupt church officials who sold religious favors, indulgences, positions in the church, that sort of thing.
Right.
They're buried upside down in these holes with flames. You know, Dante really takes aim at hypocrisy and corruption within the church here.
I bet. Okay. Any other punishments that really stand out to you?
Oh, there are plenty.
Okay.
In the fourth pocket, the sorcerers and fortune tellers have their heads twisted backwards on their bodies.
Oh.
Forced to walk backwards for eternity.
Oh, wow.
They tried to see the future through forbidden means, and now they can't even see where they're going.
Talk about ironic punishment. What about those who abuse their power?
Yeah.
Surely they get a special corner of hell.
Absolutely.
Okay.
The fifth pocket is for the Barrators.
Okay.
Corrupt politicians who use their positions to line their own pockets.
They're stuck in a lake of boiling pitch.
Oh, yuck.
Constantly tormented by demons. Dante definitely had some strong feelings about political corruption.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So we've got our schemers, our manipulators, our corrupt officials. Who else is on Dante's naughty list?
Well, the sixth pocket is for the hypocrites.
Okay.
And their punishment is a bit more subtle, but no less agonizing.
Okay.
They're forced to wear these heavy lead robes that are gilded on the outside.
Oh, okay.
So they appear righteous on the surface, but are weighed down by their deceit.
So it's all about appearances. What about those who just take things that don't belong to them?
Well, the seventh pocket is reserved for the thieves.
Okay.
It's this chaotic mess of snakes and lizards, constantly biting and tormenting them, even causing them to swap bodies with each other.
Wait, swapping bodies?
Yeah.
That's both terrifying and oddly intriguing.
It is.
Okay, 3 pockets left.
All right.
Hit me with the next one.
This one's a bit unexpected.
Okay.
It's the eighth pocket. Okay.
Reserved for the false counselors.
Okay.
Those who use their words to lead others astray.
Okay.
And guess who Dante finds there?
Okay, I'm genuinely stumped. Who is it?
Ulysses.
Ulysses.
Yes, the Ulysses from Homer's Odyssey.
Wow.
Dante reimagines his story, claiming that after all his adventures, Ulysses couldn't resist one final voyage.
Okay.
Sailing past the boundaries of the known world out of pride and this thirst for knowledge.
Okay.
This voyage ultimately leads to his shipwreck and death.
Wow, so even heroes can end up in hell.
That's right.
That's pretty humbling.
It is.
What about the ninth pocket?
Okay, the ninth pocket.
Get sent there?
Sowers of discord, those who create division and strife.
Okay.
It's a gruesome scene.
Okay.
Sinners are constantly being hacked apart by this demon with a sword, only to have their bodies reassemble.
Oh, thanks.
So they can be dismembered all over again.
Okay.
And in a move that would definitely spark controversy today.
Yeah. Dante places Muhammad in this circle.
Oh, wow.
Arguing that he caused this major religious schism.
Yikes. Okay, on to the 10th and final pocket.
All right.
Who are we dealing with now?
This is the falsifiers. Alchemists, counterfeiters, perjurers, imposters.
Okay.
They're all afflicted by various diseases and plagues,
Oh, wow.
reflecting the corruption that they brought into the world.
Okay.
It's like their lies have manifested as physical suffering.
So they're experiencing a pandemic of their own making.
Exactly.
That's some poetic justice right there.
It is.
Okay.
So we've explored all 10 pockets of Melbourne.
Right.
Where do they go from here?
Yeah, where do they go?
Well, from the depths of deceit,
Mm-hmm.
they descend to the very bottom of hell,
Okay.
the ninth circle.
Oh,
And this is where things take a chilling turn.
I'm almost afraid to ask what awaits them in the ninth circle.
The ninth circle is reserved for the ultimate sin, treachery.
Okay.
But what's interesting is that instead of this fiery inferno that you might expect, it's a frozen wasteland.
Oh, wow.
It's called Cocytus, this vast lake where the treacherous are encased in ice.
Why ice?
Well, the ice is symbolic.
Okay.
It represents the coldness of their hearts, the utter lack of warmth and compassion that led them to betray those closest to them.
Right.
They're frozen in this state of isolation and despair,
Yeah.
completely cut off from any human connection.
That's actually way scarier than fire in a way.
It is.
So how is this final circle structured?
Well, it's divided into 4 rounds,
Okay.
each named after a famous traitor
Okay.
and representing a different type of betrayal.
Okay, let's hear it.
Mm.
Who are we dealing with in these icy depths?
Well, the first round is Cana, named after the biblical Cain who killed his brother Abel.
Right.
This is where those who betrayed their family are punished.
Right.
They're frozen in the ice.
Okay.
Heads exposed to this biting wind,
Right.
forever suffering the consequences of their broken familial bonds.
Brutal. Who's in round 2?
The second round is Antenora, named after the Trojan warrior who betrayed his city to the Greeks.
Right.
Here, those who betrayed their country or political party are punished.
Okay.
They're frozen up to their necks, unable to move, their treachery literally immobilizing them. And in another personal touch, Dante actually encounters Bocca degli Abati,
Okay.
a traitor from his own city of Florence.
Does he give him a piece of his mind?
Let's just say Dante isn't known for holding back.
Okay.
He kicks Bocca's head and then unleashes this furious tirade,
Yeah.
reminding us that even in the depth of hell, personal grudges and political passions still burn bright.
I guess some things never change, even in the afterlife. Okay, on to round 3.
All right, the third round is Ptolemaea, named after the biblical king Ptolemy who betrayed his guests.
Okay.
This is where those who betrayed their guests or hosts are punished.
Right.
They're lying face down in the ice, their tears frozen in their eyes,
Wow.
symbolizing the utter despair and isolation they experience for violating those bonds of hospitality.
That's a chilling image. And the final round, this has got to be the worst of the worst.
This is it, the deepest, darkest part of hell,
Okay.
Judaica, named after Judas Iscariot, who betrayed Jesus.
Right.
This is where the ultimate betrayers are punished.
Yeah.
Those who betrayed their lords or benefactors.
Oh, okay.
They're completely encased in ice,
Okay.
twisted and contorted in these grotesque positions,
Right.
forever frozen in a state of utter abandonment and torment.
And at the very center of this icy wasteland, lurking in the shadows.
Is the ultimate betrayer himself Satan?
I knew it. So how does Dante describe the devil? Is he like a fire-breathing monster with horns and a pitchfork?
It's actually quite different. He's
Yeah.
depicted as a 3-headed giant, frozen in the ice at the center of the lake.
Okay.
Each of his mouths is chewing on a famous traitor.
Okay.
Judas Iscariot,
Right.
Brutus, and Cassius, the assassins of Julius Caesar.
So even at the bottom of hell, there's a hierarchy of evil. That's pretty messed up.
Yeah.
So what happens next? Do they like fight their way past Satan to escape?
Their escape is actually much more symbolic.
Okay.
They climb down Satan's body,
Wait.
using his frozen fur as handholds,
They climb down?
passing through the center of the earth
Okay.
and emerging in the southern hemisphere.
Wait, they climb down. Shouldn't they be going up to get out of hell?
It's a deliberate choice by Dante. By descending through the center of the earth, they're inverting their perspective,
Okay.
symbolizing a kind of spiritual rebirth.
Okay.
They're leaving behind the darkness of sin and emerging into, well, we'll save that reveal for the final part of our Dante deep dive.
It feels like something big is about to happen.
It does.
So where do they end up?
Well, they emerge on the other side of the world, and get this. It's Easter morning.
Easter morning.
Of course.
It's the ultimate symbol of resurrection, new beginnings.
Exactly. After all that darkness and suffering,
Right.
they're greeted with the promise of hope and redemption.
Yeah.
It's a pretty powerful image, I think.
It really is. So after all that, what are some of the biggest takeaways from Dante's Inferno, besides, avoid sin at all costs?
Well, one thing that really stands out to me is this idea of consequences.
Okay.
Dante's not sugarcoating things. He's saying that our actions have real weight, both in this life and the next.
Yeah.
And the contrapasso, those symbolic punishments, they show us how our sins can actually become our own personal hell.
It's like that saying, what goes around comes around, but with eternal damnation as a bonus.
Exactly.
But the Inferno isn't all doom and gloom, right?
No.
There's a glimmer of hope in there, too.
Definitely. I mean, remember, Inferno is just the first part of the Divine Comedy.
Right.
Dante's journey continues through Purgatorio and ultimately ends in Paradiso.
Right.
So even though Inferno is full of all the suffering, it's ultimately a story about the possibility of redemption.
That's actually pretty comforting, knowing there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
It is.
So how does all this apply to living in, the 21st century?
Well, that's the beauty of great literature, isn't it? Even though it was written centuries ago, it still speaks to us today. Dante's vision of hell might seem a bit extreme, but it forces us to confront our own ideas about good and evil, justice, the meaning of life.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. We still have our own versions of hell in the modern world, right?
We do.
I mean, prisons,
Yeah.
social isolation, even just that feeling of being stuck in a job you hate.
Totally.
Maybe we don't have literal circles of torment.
No.
But the idea of consequences for our actions,
Right.
that's still very much alive.
Absolutely. And it makes you wonder, how do we define hell in our own lives? What are the sins we consider unforgivable? What are our deepest fears? And how do those fears actually shape our choices? These are all questions that Dante's Inferno makes us grapple with, even 700 years later.
Wow, those are some pretty deep questions to ponder.
They are.
I don't know if our listeners are up for it. Maybe exploring Purgatorio and Paradiso is a good next step. See if Dante finds some answers along the way, right?
I think that's a great idea. The Divine Comedy is one of those works that just keeps giving. The more you explore it, the more you discover about yourself and, the human condition as a whole.
Well said. And with that, I think we've reached the end of our Dante deep dive. We've explored the depths of hell, confronted our fears, and emerged, hopefully, with a little more wisdom and a lot to think about.
It's been a fascinating journey. Thanks for having me.
Thanks to you for being such a fantastic guide. And to our listener, thanks for joining us on this exploration of Dante's Inferno. Remember, there's a whole universe of great literature out there waiting to be discovered, so keep reading, keep learning, and keep asking those big questions. Until next time.